What if Gohan saved the future? What if Tien was the hero? What if Goku landed in Mexico? Welcome back everyone to another Sparking Zero custom battle showcase. The community has been on another level lately, really putting in the work to script these scenarios and showing everyone exactly what they've been cooking up. I've been going through tons of codes that you sent in or played through and wanted to share the best ones that you found. If you have your own creation, make sure you drop the codes down below or head over to the community post where I'm gathering them. We usually stick to a specific theme, but for this video we're going back to that classic anthology style. So sit back, grab a snack, and let's jump in to the first one. We open the story with a recap of Dragon Ball Super Superhero. Piccolo and Gohan successfully bring down Cell Max, reaching new heights of power in the process. But across the cosmos on a distant planet, the awakening of that orange Namekian form stirs a sleeping monster. The ancient Lord Slug feels the surge of his people's power from across the stars. Years later, Dende warns Piccolo of a danger approaching Earth, and both already know who it is. The legends of Slug have been passed down through the Namekian people, thought of as an urban legend until he makes his presence known when he arrives on Earth, looking to challenge the Namekian who possesses that great power. Slug looks down at Piccolo, recognizing the Demon King in his eyes, yet he's struck by how gentle this version of that warrior has become. Piccolo sees a resemblance in Slug, an evil reflection of what he used to be. He tells Slug to leave, but Slug didn't travel this far to go home empty-handed. They clash and it's immediately clear that while Piccolo is a threat, Slug is on another level entirely. He mocks Piccolo's docile nature and Piccolo responds that even a former Demon King can find peace. The battle rages on, and even with the orange transformation, Piccolo's on the ropes, barely managing to push Slug back enough to think. He tries to grow in size to gain an advantage, but Slug matches that ability instantly, explaining that certain Namekians use that form to truly unleash their power. The two giants trade blows until Piccolo is overwhelmed, falling back to his normal size in defeat. Slug realizes that this is the first opponent to give him a real challenge in years. He approaches the battered Piccolo and reveals the secret. Only a few Namekians can force an absorption on another, and in an instant, Piccolo is absorbed. Gohan arrives just a moment too late, and Dende has to break the news that Piccolo is gone. Gohan stares at the monster responsible for taking his mentor, realizing the only way to get his friend back is to end Slug once and for all. The forced absorption angle is a brilliant way to raise the stakes. Usually Namekian fusion is a mutual choice, so turning it into a weapon makes Slug feel like a genuine predator. Outside of that, this section is a perfect setup. It's short, but it establishes emotional stakes from the start of it, giving Lord Slug a proper introduction into the Super timeline. We've seen so many movie villains get their moments in these custom battles, and it's about time Slug gets some shine too. Age 767, Broly survives his defeat, crashing into Earth and becoming entombed in a frozen lake. 7 years pass before Videl, Goten, and Trunks wake him up while searching for the Dragon Balls. Goten's crying acts as a catalyst that brings the monster back to life. Videl tries to step up and protect the kids, but she has no idea what she's dealing with. Broly discards her instantly, leaving her broken as Gohan senses the massive energy spike and rushes to the scene. He arrives to find Videl pulverized, and the sight of his failure to protect those that he loves triggers something deep inside.
I gotta get serious.
The rage boils over, and Gohan stands in Broly's path. Before Broly can even push his power further, Gohan lands a kick with enough force to nearly knock the legendary Saiyan out of his Super Saiyan form. That old arrogance returns as Gohan mocks him, telling the beast he remembered him being much more of a challenge. Backed into a corner, Broly snaps and unleashes his full legendary Super Saiyan power, attacking Gohan with a blind fury. Gohan still holds the advantage here, but in typical fashion, he starts to get cocky when he's in the lead. He lets the fight drag on, ignoring the history that Saiyans evolve in the heat of battle. Broly starts closing the gap, and the look on Gohan's face shifts from confidence to a genuine worry. Broly's ki is continuing to rise even further. Realizing he let things go on far too long, Gohan starts charging his final attack as Broly's ki continues to skyrocket.
I'm putting it all. Fight time is over. Special beam cannon!
One addition you don't usually find in these battles is the inclusion of multiple endings, and this scenario actually has a few different paths. If you're skilled enough to avoid taking damage, Videl can actually beat Broly herself. You can also finish him off early as Gohan to trigger a different ending where he keeps his focus and never lets his cockiness take over. Moving the timeline around makes this a lot more interesting. This movie would have had to take place after the Buu saga ends. Either Gohan defeated Majin Buu before he was able to absorb the boys, or the story progressed like normal. Now Gohan would have almost certainly let this power slip away once he returned to his books, which is just the standard cycle for him. The real question is whether he can actually pull this form back out of the bag when Beerus eventually makes his way to the Earth. If he can't tap into that beast state on command, he's going to be in a lot of trouble when the God of Destruction shows up looking for a challenge. The Tournament of Power is a distant memory, but the Saiyans of Universe 6 haven't forgotten that explosive growth they experienced while clashing with Universe 7. Eager to push their limits further, Kale and Caulifla secure permission from Champa and Vados to cross the cosmic border. Their goal is simple: find Goku and Vegeta and demand a rematch. But the Earth they arrive on isn't the peaceful training ground they expected. They find a world in total disarray and a sky filled with the echoes of a desperate struggle. Below, Goku is locked in a life-or-death battle against a parasite-infested Vegeta. The malevolent Tuffle Baby has somehow clawed his way into the super timeline and seized control of the prince's body. Baby Vegeta is currently pushing Goku to his absolute breaking point, and things are looking grim, till the two sisters drop in from the sky, intercepting a fatal blast just in time to save the veteran warrior. Kale and Caulifla dive headfirst into the battle, and while they don't fully grasp the situation, they know an enemy when they see one. They swap in to buy Goku some much needed breathing room, and their combined pressure quickly starts to irritate the Tuffle. Enraged by his inability to put them down, Baby forces a mutation, blending his Tuffle biology with the stolen Saiyan cells to push his evolution even further. Goku eventually finds his second wind and rejoins the battle, and with the three of them working in tandem, Goku taps into Super Saiyan Blue to level the playing field. The relentless pressure from the trio starts to install a genuine sense of fear in the Tuffle, but just as it looks like Vegeta's body is about to give out, a dark, suffocating aura takes hold. A forced evolution ripples through the prince, twisting his form until he towers over the city as a great ape. Kale and Caulifla are caught completely off guard by this monstrous transformation, forcing Goku to explain that in his universe the primal power is a core part of the Saiyan heritage. The three of them regroup to take on the massive, albeit slower, Great Ape. Kale and Caulifla coordinate their movements, distracting the Titan and buying enough time for Goku to charge a final Kamehameha. In a sharp departure from the original timeline, the blast is precise enough to incinerate the Tuffle parasite while leaving Vegeta's body intact. As the smoke clears, a battered Vegeta slowly regains consciousness. The immediate threat is over. Goku finally gets a moment to catch his breath and ask the question that's been on his mind. Why exactly did the two Saiyan women cross over into Universe 7? Kale and Caulifla don't miss a beat, answering in unison that they came for one reason: to train under Goku and Vegeta. Fusing these two timelines and rewriting Baby is the right move for me. He's easily one of the best villains in GT. He's pretty much the only reason why I go back to rewatch GT. Now, if the creator ever dives back into the backstory leading up to these events, I'll be covering all of it right here. Trunks and Cell's time travel to the past have shown to cause multiple issues, one being boosting of the android's power levels far beyond what Trunks had in his timeline. This scenario asks a simple but terrifying question: what happens if the android's power boost was much more significant? We open on the islands where Piccolo is desperately trying to keep Android 17 at bay. Usually this is the clash of equals, but here the Namekian's best efforts fall short. Every strike that should be significant is barely leaving a scratch. His power gap leads 17 to start toying with him, delivering a slow, agonizing beatdown out of sheer annoyance that this real challenge turned out to be a disappointment. Up on the lookout, Gohan has seen enough. Watching his mentor's key signature plummet more and more is enraging him. Despite Goku's best efforts to keep him still as they wait for Vegeta, Gohan snaps. He takes off, ascending towards the islands in a desperate bid to save his friend. Goku tries to give chase, but Vegeta and Trunks emerge from the time chamber just in time to stop him. The prince is insistent that this is his fight, and he's heading down to handle the androids himself. Down on the islands, Gohan barely reaches Piccolo before the situation turns terminal. He throws everything he has in 17, but the power gap is too wide and the boy is left badly beaten. Vegeta finally touches down, but his focus isn't on saving anyone. He wants his rematch with Android 18. Even after forcing out his ascended form and pouring every ounce of pride into a final flash, 18 just walks through the smoke, completely protected by her barrier. Trunks is already taken down by the hands of 17, and now Vegeta is at his limit too. Goku arrives just in time to pull Vegeta back from a lethal strike, realizing he has to take on both androids alone. The teamwork between 17 and 18 is too much for him to manage, but the fight takes a sharp turn when Android 16 intervenes. He thanks the twins for the opening, grabs Goku, and triggers his self-destruct.
Disengaging limiter. I must use my last resort.
Now, despite that massive destructive blow, Goku somehow crawls out of the crater, clinging to life, but he's completely spent. Just as 17 moves in to end it, Cell finally makes his move. He's been lurking in the shadows this whole time, waiting for everyone to wear each other down, and now he's landing heavy blows on the unsuspecting androids. With the androids backed into a corner, Goku realizes their only shot at surviving Cell is to work together. He sees past their programming, recognizing that there isn't any true malice behind their actions. Cell isn't impressed. He mocks Goku's inability to keep up and begins to unveil his true power, gloating about how he plans to fold all of them into his own biology. The struggle is brutal, but in the heat of the fight, Goku finally shatters his limits and he pushes straight into Super Saiyan 2. The aura is shifting as he prepares a massive Kamehameha. The androids don't hesitate, backing his beam up with their own energy to create a combined assault that completely erases the bio-android from the face of the earth. In the aftermath, Android 17 and 18 stand among the wreckage, clearly impressed by how much the Z-Warriors, Goku especially, surpassed their initial expectations. Rather than continuing the cycle of violence, the twins issue a challenge. They want a rematch in 1 week. With a temporary truce established, everyone leaves the area to spend those 7 days pushing their limits. I love this scenario simply because it leans into the idea that those androids were never truly evil. They were just bored and looking for a challenge. By giving Goku and the others a week of training after already hitting Super Saiyan 2, the power gap is going to shift drastically. The real question now is how this rematch ends. Does the Dragon Team follow through on the original mission to destroy them? Or does this turn into a permanent training partnership where the androids finally learn to grow their own power alongside the Saiyans? That's where I'm calling it for now. And like always, I want to throw it back to you guys. Which of these scenarios were your favorite? How would you push these stories even further from here? I want to thank all of you for supporting these creators and their work. I also appreciate the support you show on this channel. This started as a simple way to learn a new skill and post my yapping sessions, and now we've hit over 4,000 subs with a genuinely dope community. Now, like I mentioned before, if you got your own custom battle creations, drop those codes in the comments or on the community posts. I'm looking forward to seeing what else you guys are building. It's been your local overanalyzer Artellings, and I hope you have yourself a damn good one.